Snazzy string day, everyone. I don't know if it's really string day. I just made that up because I'm working with strings. Anyways, so this is this viola and violin string finger chart for the C string, G string, D string, and A string on the viola, and then E string on the violin. So however you want to look at it, I just use both the strings combined together in this chart, and then you have your open strings, first, second, third, and fourth fingers, right? Now, before we get more into that for some swanky patterns, I wanted to refresh upon the notes that change going from a major scale to a major scale, like for instance, C major to G major, right? F turns into F sharp, right? G major to D major, C turns into C sharp. A major to E major, right? D turns into D sharp. Let's do B flat to F major. E flat turns into E, right? And then F to C, E flat turns into B. So kind of take a look at that. These are the major scales. And then these are the notes that are changing from a major scale to another major scale down below it, right? So, boom, B major to F major. These are the notes that change, right? And then A to E, D to D sharp going down, right? So take a look at that, familiarize yourself, la-di-da-di-da. Isn't that snazzy-dazzy? Okay, so now that you have that in mind, going to this. Check this out now. So, going to the D major scale with two sharps. C turns into C sharp. Going to the E major scale, right? D turns into D sharp for the fourth sharp, right? All right, and then going to the F major scale, E flat turns into E so it can have one flat, right? And then D turns into D sharp in the E major scale. F turns into F sharp, going to the G major scale, right? G turns into G sharp, going to the A. Or else we could say A flat turns into A, going into the B flat major scale, right? And then B flat turns into B, going into the C major scale, right? Or else going to the B major scale, A turns into A sharp, right? Or else C turns into C sharp, going to the D major scale, right? B flat to B going to the C major, we know that. D to D sharp going into the E major scale, right? F to F sharp going to the G major scale, of course. E turns into F, or is E sharp going to the F sharp major scale, right? And then, let's see here. F to F sharp going to the G major scale, right? And then G to G sharp going into the A major scale, right? And then B flat to B going into the C major scale, right? Or else A flat turns into A, going into the A flat major scale, I believe. A flat major scale. Or B flat major scale. B flat turns into B going to the C major scale. And then C to C sharp going to the D major scale, right? And then E flat to E going into the F major scale for just one flat, and then E to F going into F major, F to F sharp going into the G major scale, G to G sharp going into the A major scale, A to A sharp going into the B major scale, right? Or else we could look at it like A flat to A going into the B flat major scale with two flats, right? Or else D flat to D going into the E flat major scale, right? G flat to G, going into the A flat major scale, right? With only 4 flats, so the G, the 5th flat, would have to turn into G. And then C or D flat turns into D, right? Going into the E flat major scale, or something like that. So yeah, you can see the patterns, how it goes in there, or something like that, right? So there's that. So yes, a lot of swanky-dinky patterns. C to C sharp and D major, E flat to E, going to the F major, F to F sharp, going to the G major, G sharp to A, or G to G sharp, going into the A major, right? B flat to B, going to C major, C to C sharp, going to the D, right? So there's things like that. D to D sharp, going to the E major, F to F sharp, going to the G major, right? Things like that. So B flat to B, going into the C, G to G sharp, going to the A, and D to D sharp, going to the E major, right? E sharp to F, going to the F sharp major, G to G sharp, going into the A major scale, and A flat, or A to A sharp, going into the B major scale. So there are a lot of swanky patterns in the strings of a violin or viola in terms of the notes that are changed in the order of flats or sharps in a scale, you could say. So that's kind of swanky and snazzy. Anyways, have a snazzy dazzy day, everyone. Play with silly string.